Back with another episode of the BroNups.
Shiz.
Lisa here. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Lisa's a businesswoman, someone who started out in business, who actually used to work with me. Used to work at Jammy Lizard, my business, which, yeah, it's going to be cool to hear from Lisa. But before we get into it, what's new with you?
Just same old, just making crypto plays. And that's about it, really. Just running this Airbnb. What about you?
Yeah, same, really. I had a member of staff quit on me, which they weren't necessarily the right member of staff for the role. I won't shit talk them. They're a good person, but just wasn't right for the role. So it kind of harmonious, but it's put us on a back foot a little bit, you know? So bit of patch up for that. I got to go back to Holland tomorrow to cover him for 4 days.
Nice.
But other than that, life's good. I can't complain.
You flying or driving back?
Flying and then driving a car back.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, life's good. I drove back yesterday. We were meant to bring the car back, but I couldn't be bothered to do the driving on my own. So I took my colleague and we shared the driving, but it just means I got to go back and get a car now.
Yeah, makes it easier, doesn't it?
Makes it easier. I can sleep, put my feet up.
Kind of reminds you of the time we drove back that 24 hours straight. Do you remember from Marbella?
That was mental, bro.
That's crazy.
That was back when I used to drink. I was drinking till 5 a.m. And I slept like 2 hours, and we drove back 24 hours non-stop, and we didn't even speak the whole way. If we weren't sleeping, we were driving. Do you remember?
It's crazy, yeah. Literally, me and him, we drove back 24 hours from Marbella. And obviously, we didn't speak literally the whole way. It's just like 6 hours driving, 6 hours off. Just at the petrol station, do you want a drink? No. And like switching. He would listen to podcasts, and then they put me to sleep. And I'll just be putting like DMX or something crazy on to keep me awake because we hadn't slept, obviously.
Do you remember what the podcast was?
Was it Carpet?
Yeah.
Mad.
We
I don't know how I remember that.
to China as well. Do you remember?
I remember watching Idiot Abroad before we took the flight to China, and he's there eating bugs. I'm like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be in China. That we had to eat by eating fucking. Oh, fuck.
There's MacD's and Pizza every like 2 yards.
Yeah.
So.
Can I be really annoyed and ask for a toilet break?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah. That's funny.
You know we're not cutting this out, right?
Just keep it running. Just keep it running anyway.
Yeah. People were saying MacD's, KFC, pizza is a place you're more likely to get food poisoning rather than like street cooked in front of you fresh.
Yeah.
And they got like crazy scandals in China. Like, so a lot of these restaurants, they pour away oil into the sewers because it's like just they don't care. They've got no health and safety standards.
Food oil.
Food oil, yeah. And where it builds up at the bottom, you've got people who collect it, sieve it, like clean it, repackage it, and they're selling it back to like KFC, MacD's, and people getting so ill from it. It's crazy.
Bro, what does that remind you of? Simpsons episode. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Literally.
When Homer Simpson comes in, he's like, oh, you must have $20 worth of grease on your forehead alone.
And he's like,
And he's like, sir, can I get help? It's that guy with all the spots. You know?
The spotty teenager in MacD's. Yeah.
They have him. He's like the quintessential teen. And also you've got the stressed out salesman, Gil, remember?
Yeah.
Every time he gets asked.
Yeah. You know what? You got to love Homer because they do everything. Like that episode where he's like, you could sell grease, and he starts cooking meat just for the grease, and he's spending more on meat than the actual.
Yeah, he's like, I made $5 today. He's like, how much bacon do you buy? He's like, $100. He's like, $100 of bacon. He's like, yeah, but Marge paid. He's like, yeah, but don't you give Marge the money? He's like, yeah, so.
And then he's like, dope.
Yeah.
It's so good because it just reminds you of like stupid business ideas you think of when you're younger.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh wait, you can sell oil? Like, where do I get that from?
Our guest is back. Have you seen that episode when Homer Simpson's is selling grease?
No.
He's like sneaking into, what's it called? The Krusty Burger.
That's so funny. The line you must have $20 of grease on your face.
Yeah, he comes in, he's like, George, he's like, oh, you must have $20 worth of grease on your forehead alone. And then that guy's stressed, sir, with his like broken voice. Hey, do we feel relaxed enough now to talk?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you feeling chill now?
Do you watch Simpsons or not?
A little bit, not like religiously like you guys clearly.
Oh, man.
We're not doing it religiously.
So
You know what we're trying to do? We're trying to patch up where you're nervous running off to go for a wee. So we're trying to save
unauthorized toilet breaks.
Okay.
She wasn't doing this when she worked for you, was she?
Nah. You get down, you sat down and did your job. So let me introduce Lisa. Lisa used to work for me and went off and does her own thing now, and super, super inspiring woman because you look after your son and you run a business. So why don't you tell us tell us how we met firstly.
So I worked for you for a bit and I was doing like admin stuff.
Yeah, the best product data we've ever had.
Did a bit of website stuff. That was new for me, but that was cool. And then I did like a bit of reception, and then I decided to start a cleaning business.
Not because you didn't like the company, was it?
No, it was just like because I had miles and stuff, and it was like mainly full time on it. So
how did you get the job to start with?
Facebook, I think.
Was it Facebook?
Posted, yeah, and I was like,
good old Facebook.
Yeah,
and we were friends before it, were we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's cool.
how we met. I guess.
And what made you leave and start your own business? Was he a bad boss or what?
No. Not
enough pay.
I had like a few jobs before I did the business, but it It was mainly like childcare and stuff. I was like, what can I do?
Can I stop you? You had a few jobs before you did the business.
Yeah.
So you didn't just leave to start the
Yeah,
business?
no, I didn't
So
know.
what did those other jobs have that I didn't have?
You sound like an insecure man now.
No, but I want to know, like, what were they offering you that JLC doesn't offer?
No, it was just like, so I worked for the NHS, so like reception. So it was like easy hours, like 4 hours a day.
Easier out digging a hole.
No, just like being a mum, obviously, like 4 hour shifts is
You
good.
make it sound like he's on like a slave camp.
No, it was great. I loved working
Like
for you. I did.
a mine.
It was
coal
good.
mine.
So, yeah, getting cobalt.
Yeah.
We can stop that because I don't believe in global warming no more.
Or EV.
Yeah.
Even though I've got like semi-EV, but yeah.
Yeah, but this is the
Can't.
flex, not for the environment.
Yeah. Literally.
So
So you left for, obviously, because you got a child, better hours or whatever. And how did you start the business? Were you not
So-
scared leaving your job?
Yeah,
for,
I
like-
was. But my biggest regret is I didn't do it earlier because it fits around Miles. Obviously, like, you can earn a lot more. That's mainly why I did it. It's like childcare is a joke. Like, that was also one of the things. Like, when I was working for you, like, I would work and then pay a childcare bill, and it was a bit like, what's the point?
How
of
much
it?
were you paying?
Back then, it was like £700 a month on like
Whoa.
childcare.
that's mega, isn't it?
Yeah.
How much is that? Like, do they charge you per the hour or per day or whatever?
So it is per hour because I did childminder, but I think nurseries are like per day.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. It's almost like...
For you guys.
Nah, it's
But we're
good.
trying to pick up a new demographic.
Yes, it's good though anyway, because obviously if you've got a child and you're a single parent, like, how do you work if you're going to pay that much on thinking, like, what's
Exactly.
better? Is it better to stay at home on benefits and get paid a certain amount and look after your kid properly, or give it to someone else and pay that much money and you don't know what they're doing when you're not there,
Yeah.
etc., you know? So
It's hard.
And I think as well, a lot of people are trying to find reasons not. And like you hear a lot of people, oh, I can't start in business because of this responsibility. Like you've shown, like you're single and you had a son and you still did it. So like a lot of people are just looking for an excuse. So I think there's a
Yeah.
reason it's important to touch on that. It's not because we're trying to appeal to loads of mums. We're trying to appeal to people who are making excuses, or they say, I can't do it because my mortgage, or I can't do it because my kid. But the fact of the matter is you can, can't you?
Yeah, you can. No, definitely. I think it is excuses, like you said. Like,
everyone makes excuses. Like,
Yeah.
he'll be like, oh, I don't have the money to start it. I don't have like a premises. I don't have this. I don't have this skill. Like, you could start with small steps, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't have anything like when I started.
When did you start?
So I've been doing it. It'll be 4 years in September. Yeah. So
And
Yeah,
who's your main
Mad.
like clientele? Is it businesses?
So at the
Is it-
moment, it's mainly domestic, but I want to branch out to like more commercial stuff. But it's staffing. That's my biggest thing, and I think that's what's I'm struggling to grow the business because of like staffing.
So if
Me
you
and
had
James were
staff-
saying that, weren't we? About staff is so hard to get now
Yeah.
in any like job, let alone like something where it's like, it was always hard to find. People born over here don't like doing those sort of jobs. That's the
Yeah.
problem. And then now we've done this Brexit thing. People don't feel welcome here, and we don't have enough of them over here doing those sort of jobs.
Yeah. It's hard to find people who want to do that kind of thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Ego's got in the way of
Yeah.
people who, and like we've never had a society where people actually need money more than they need it, and everyone feels that they don't want to do this job. Like we put jobs up now, it takes ages to get people filled.
Yeah. So going back to that, where do you advertise and why are you struggling? Do you reckon?
So I've done Facebook. I've done is it Indeed? I always
Oh
say it
yeah,
wrong.
indeed, yeah.
But Facebook mainly. But they've also like Indeed take like a lot of money, but then they don't actually give me any like appropriate candidates basically.
Yeah.
And then I did look at using an agency, but the fee was just, and to not guarantee like, you know, the person
Yeah.
being good.
What is the pay? What is the pay?
So I pay like £15 an hour minimum.
Wow, that's good,
So-
isn't it?
Yeah.
We
it's
used to
not
work for like
bad.
$4.50 back in the day.
That's
You know what I mean?
Literally.
You think someone 17, 18 would just take that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it is hard work. Like, it's hard graft, and I'm very particular, and I've built like a really high standard. So I don't know. I think people are just lazy because it's not. It's hard, but it's not. It's repetitive. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you a fair boss?
Yeah, I think so. I'm very like I expect the standards to be high because, like, being a cleaner, you're a luxury. So I feel like I've got to be better than everyone
Yeah.
else. But yeah, I think I'm all right.
Yeah.
15 is mad, and you can't fill that position in it because there's so many people out there like broke.
Yeah.
You know?
That's big money. And like people want to turn around, like even you were talking about Deliveroo and Uber Eats. You can earn big money on that, and no one wants to do the job.
Yeah.
Or people complain, or they say I'm broke. You
The
think,
hours.
but you're not doing
Yeah.
this job.
And it's your job's flexible, obviously, because you're clean. So like, there's people who've got other commitments like kids and stuff, but they don't want to do it.
I thought like when I started, I thought like school mums would be great and stuff, but
they don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's when people were born here, they don't want those jobs. And like I said, now we don't have that same amount of people where they don't feel welcome or whatever, filling those sort of roles, you know?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I think people are like, oh, cleaner, but actually,
for like 15 quid an hour, you could lose your pride.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Because you could work in an office for a 10 or 8, 9 quid or whatever, a restaurant, 8, 9 quid.
So how do you get business? So you want to go get more business now. Let's say you just started from scratch. What's the plan? How do you do it?
So Facebook, word of mouth has been my biggest. I haven't had to look for any work. Everything's come to me, which I think means I'm doing something right.
And that's through recommendation, is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So like I clean for like whole families and then aunties and stuff. Yeah. So that's been my biggest. I think the community has really helped to grow my business. Basically.
Well, like posset pages, that kind of thing, yeah?
Stuff like that, yeah. Being tagged and recommended, yeah.
So posset pages, like, you know, the local town group?
Yeah.
Do you have one for your area like that as well, where people will put in services for the
there's an app now. I don't know if you've heard of the app. What's it called? Neighborhood or something?
Oh, cool.
It's really good. But yeah, you could just advertise on there and there'll be people like just... It's like a Facebook place almost. Like people be like, oh, I found this. There's a cat here. I need a cleaner. Like blah, 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 blah. I'll remember the name of the app, but it's really good. Something My Neighborhood, and you could find out all your neighbors join it. So you literally know, like, if I want to speak to someone in number 312, just go on the app and you can see like this person's 312. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is cool. That's what it needs, isn't it? Something to like get, because I think a lot of people don't use Facebook anymore, and you've got the new age people who are not going to go onto like buy, swap, sell pages, are they?
Yeah, there's too much on Facebook too. Like if you're looking for that service, you don't know where to go, do you?
No, you don't.
It's crowded, really crowded with complainers.
So, what would you say is the biggest challenge of like you getting into business that you say weren't expecting, and it's been like, right,
I think the biggest thing is the staffing thing. I think that's like potentially stopping me from growing, so I can take on like bigger contracts and stuff like that. Yeah, I think
so. Do you think the reason the staff is an issue is because it's hard to get people to want to do the job, or is it just because you haven't gelled with the people you've had? What has it been?
I think it's a bit of both, because even if I like don't like someone, I don't have to work.
Do you make it very apparent if you don't like someone?
No, obviously I try not.
No, but I don't know if that's why you're
I feel like my
staff.
face probably says.
that's me and my face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you this: when I'm out with Shiz, there's no second guessing. If you don't like someone, everyone knows it, and the person knows it.
Yeah.
It's just my face. I can't help it. But if we were to, I just thought of an idea. Like how do we solve this problem, right? If we can get staff, like how? Because obviously you're advertising on Indeed, everyone's doing that. Facebook, everyone's doing that. It's a free thing as well. Like it's not good. I used Facebook before, but how would we solve this problem? I think. Do you know what I'd do? I was just thinking of it now. Like you said, the mums, right? The mums don't want to do it, but I don't think they see it. Like people hear things, they see adverts, but like till they feel it, it's not reality. So maybe I'd print out some brochures and go to a school at like 3:30 and say like, any of you got time free in a day, 15 quid an hour, and put it in their face.
That's such a simple, but like could actually work. I didn't think
of
that.
Because you're right now and Indeed, you're like just a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
And you've got these hungry recruiters calling everyone like, don't go on there, I've got a job for you here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's bang on. Because what I do is I get people to apply through jobs like on those same platforms. And I notice you get a lot of people not turn up unless you pre-sell the job. So I think the same way as like what Shiz is saying, pre-selling it, where you'd speak to people and be like, look, I'd even put up a Gumtree like job, £15 an hour, and not say what it is, just to stop the ego. And then when people apply, like,
for sure.
Yeah, what I do is I go up and I just do some services for house. And what is it? Well, it's just like hoovering and this and that, because it doesn't say cleaning. And fundamentally, everyone's fine with hoovering and dusting, but the word cleaning, people are just suddenly saying, like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, stop, get your ego out.
Yeah.
15 quid an hour to hoover and do this. I think you'd get.
Yeah, house servicing, I'd call it.
Yeah.
House servicing or.
They say
or
housekeeping
like,
sometimes, don't they?
Yeah. But even that, it's got those connotations that people are scared to be associated with. This as dumb as it is, money's money.
Yeah.
But just house services.
The problem, though, as well, is like the benefits and stuff. Like, like you get so much. It's not enough.
But it's not a lot though. So
yeah.
what, 100 quid a week or something? Stupid.
It depends.
Maybe 150 if you got 2 kids, 3 kids, 200.
Yeah. It depends, because they've changed it like universal now, so you get like a big lump sum. So I think that sort of people are like, oh, well, I can just sit at home and get that.
Yeah.
What? They give people a lump sum to not work?
So you obviously like
They
get
give it, like-
housing benefits.
It's
pay
not
rent.
weekly now, is it? I don't
No,
think.
it's
I think they just give it to you to
monthly.
start now, and then you just spunk through it.
Right. And that changes the spectrum because people get wet over a lump of cash, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
The other problem you get is like, I just thought you could go find like a load of homeless people, but like you need some trust, don't you? And like CRB checks.
Oh, yeah,
Like I'm not letting
definitely.
someone without a CRB check clean my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My friend actually had a cleaner, and he noticed there was like $5 going missing out of his like coin jar.
Oh my god.
You know, so then he set up like a covert camera. I
Yeah.
think he caught him out. So
Do you remember that bird at Backwell School? That teacher, there was a teacher. I don't even know her name. I don't even know if we can say her name. But there was this woman at school, right? And everyone had these like few quid was going missing from their school bags.
Yeah, for
Anyway,
years.
for years.
Phones.
Really?
It was phones, wasn't it?
And like
Phones
it was
and money.
little bits of coins and phones, wasn't it?
Yeah, from the girls' changing room, I think.
And
Right.
she was smart, right? For a thief, she was smart. Right? Well, you can be a thief and be smart, obviously. She was going to take a few quid from each person, and in the end, they started locking the like changing rooms. So money's still going, so it has to be someone with a key. Anyway, they set a camera up. Turns out it was this woman, a PE teacher, and then she got fired. But after a year or two, they managed to get back because she claimed and did this appeal. And this just goes to show the state of the wokeness.
God.
Yeah.
Is she claimed mental health or something? And like, it's okay, you were stealing from the kids, but if you're struggling inside your head, come back, love.
Yeah.
What?
I think it was like the way they fired her wasn't correct. So that's some stupid administrative mistake, and she's back now, and she got compo, I think, for the year she lost work.
Oh my
Bro, what
Mad.
world are we living in?
But do you know how shameless you got to be to go back and take that job
Yeah.
where you stole from and just be like face everyone, like show your face to everyone, like
Yeah.
there's that woman who's
No
stealing,
shame.
Me again.
stealing candy from kids, literally like money from school kids.
Yeah.
This is so embarrassing.
And they go, Miss, can we lock the change rooms? We don't have money to go missing. Locking it does nothing. You know that.
Yeah, I've got the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that was a crazy story.
Because we heard about that story and it was shocking to us that what the hell that happened. And then like, a year later we heard she's been re-employed and we thought, God, this school couldn't get any dumber.
You know, I was thinking about that too. That's why I've never really got anyone to clean my house, because I don't trust like people around my stuff. You know,
Yeah.
especially
I
if you've
think
got
that
valuable
is-
stuff everywhere.
Yeah, that is something I struggle with as well. So I had one girl and she stole a pepperoni.
Stole a pepperoni?
A pepperoni, and I was like, yeah, no. It's just, yeah.
How did you find out?
She told me.
Oh, so she told you in
Yeah,
confidence
she
and you had to
told-
fire her.
Yeah, I was like, I can't have that. And that's how it starts, isn't it? It's a pepperoni, then it's a pound,
Yeah.
and then I was like, yeah,
Yeah, that's
no.
good.
I've seen, like,
Probably should have said that, should I?
Nah, it's fine.
you know, we were talking about the entitlement and everything earlier. I've seen like English, like Western women, and they were like doing my cleaning before. They started to just get lazy, not do anything. And now for the same cleaners I've used for 4 years, and they're Polish and they just work their ass off, never touch it. You wouldn't have to worry about stealing, no nothing, no entitlement. And it's all about that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that I
You just
was,
appreciate the chance to work and get paid
yeah,
good money.
Yeah, it's good. I think that trust thing's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because-
yeah.
I think if you don't trust them, even if they haven't stolen, what happened? Especially if you've got a lot of stuff, you start to be like, that's gone. Was it them? Was it them?
Yeah.
And then if you know that it was never them, you don't ever have to have that thing creep in your head.
Yeah.
And that's why you pay them good as well, like so they
Exactly,
can't
yeah.
steal. Like if you're getting paid less or below whatever, you'd be like, I got to steal that. They're not paying me enough. You know,
Yeah.
they've got some justification, but at 15 quid an hour
There is no excuse.
for like a job that anyone could do without any qualifications,
Yeah,
you don't have an excuse to steal. You know. I just know how people work. That's how people work,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
people's
it's-
minds work. Like
yeah.
psychologically, they'll justify stealing with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So being self-employed, how do you like manage your time? Where like for your son, for holidays, for time off, that kind of thing.
Hard. So I'm not great at it, but I've got to do a lot of lists.
What kind of list? What do you mean?
So like every day I'm like, right, I'm gonna start with this. I got invoice at this time, and like, yeah, that sort of thing.
Oh, so you have to remember all the invoices,
Yeah,
everything.
I do everything. Yeah.
Is there anything you ever miss? And you're like, this is hard to do on one.
So
on my
I
own.
hate doing the rota. So I do a monthly rota, and I always miss like 2 or 3 clients on like 1 week. That's hard. And then
Yeah.
like people cancel and then do holidays, and then you got to do it all again. I think the admin side of it is hard. That's the hardest bit, I think.
And what about like taking time off?
I've not had any time off. I've probably had like a day here or there.
What, in 4 years?
Yeah.
Not going
Really?
on holiday.
No.
Nothing.
I
Mad.
don't work weekends, so I feel like I don't need to have too much time off. And I try and do just school hours, so it's not too bad.
Well, how long was it in your business till you took when you first started Jammy? How many How long without holiday?
To actually be able to take proper holidays, were like a week out, and it wasn't just weekends. I would say 2 years, 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, with that
What
shutting
about
down.
you, with yours?
Yeah, mine was like, I think on the first or the second year, maybe the second year, I closed down for a week to go on holiday because I couldn't trust it. But it was maybe like the end of the second or the third year where I could go on holiday. I was away for like 6 weeks, remember, Vegas and LA, without worrying because I had good staff in place. But good staff are hard to find.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's the problem now. Like, a lot of businesses in the country are going to suffer because of lack of staff.
And you need to be able to take time for yourself, because like
Yeah,
it's good that if you've managed to do 4 years and not take time for yourself. My experience is that what can happen is you can start resenting the business if it doesn't ever let you go away.
Yeah, sure. The business ends up owning you.
Yeah.
I think we said that last time, didn't we?
Like when my sales are bad and I'm not making any money, I start hating the business because there's so much responsibility. I got like 40 people all looking to me all the time. And you think when it's not making any money, you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, you're doing something
it
for
can make you
nothing.
resent it. But I always remind myself, like I remember that we were trying to remember his name last time, the Teflon Don, John Gotti.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm like annoyed about a situation, like, this person wants me, I think, or like this person is always just like on my case for stuff. I thought, this is the life I chose, you know? If I like make an investment and it loses money, like what's the alternative? That I just had a boring ass life where I didn't take risks? Like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah, you know what as well? When it's like that and you're feeling down, that there's no better feeling than when you solve that problem or you beat it and you're back on the rise, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you solve a problem, it's like an amazing feeling.
And talking to solving problems, do you notice this be as well? Like, so solving a problem is an amazing feeling, but also when you're stressed about a problem, just taking some degree of action lightens the problem like loads.
Yeah.
Like, so you could be super stressed, like, I don't know what to do. This person's about to leave, or I've lost this money, but just embarking on what is going to cure it, suddenly it feels like 10% of what it felt.
Yeah.
Like when you're sat there, like, it's kind of like you're thinking about going to the gym is a way bigger task than actually going. The minute you're in, it's like, this isn't so bad. You get used to it. I'll do 10 more minutes, do 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
But if you sit there and just fester over a problem, it gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, and do you know what I was just thinking a minute ago? I was thinking it with the last poddy with the car cleaner, car valet, sorry. Is that all these businesses, I remember when I was in school, I remember reading about David Beckham used to get a £200 car wash, and I was like mind blown, like, what? This guy spends 200 quid on a car wash. And now normal people do it.
Yeah.
And even house cleaning is something that celebrities only get done. And all these things that only celebrities used to do are like trickle down to normal way of life. That's why no one has money, because, you know, like, if you're sat at home all day, why are you going to pay someone to clean your house? It doesn't make sense.
You'd be surprised.
You know what I mean? No, but I know people who are like my age or even a few years ago who are getting a house clean. I'm like, what? You're 25. Why are you paying someone to clean your house?
I get my
I mean, you're not. Yeah, obviously, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you're making big dough, so.
Yeah.
But like, if you're on an average wage or something, like, why do you need to pay someone to clean your house?
Yeah. If you're doing something that there's loads of people, like even like smoking cigarettes, you think like you're getting in more and more debt every single week, but there's some certain luxuries which, they're luxuries.
Yeah, people.
Not
People still want luxury. What's that?
they're not like necessary, are they? These sort of things.
Yeah, but people can't cut out luxury things. Like cleaning your house is a luxury
Yeah,
thing.
definitely,
You don't have to pay to do that.
Unless
you know?
it's with Lisa, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
You need to go and order from Lisa.
Yeah.
All right,
Leave it to Lisa.
Lisa. If you're already using Lisa as well, it is a necessity. It's only luxury if you're using some of these idiots who like you risk getting a pepperami taken.
Do you use Lisa?
Nah, but I should do.
Yeah,
I'm conflicted.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
conflicted. I'm conflicted because the lady who does mine, she's also I think I've spoken more words between her than I have with you. You know, even though you work for me, so I don't know. I've got 2 friends now in cleaning. I don't know what to do.
I hate that when
Well,
you got that
you're
like
always
split
the-
commitment. When
Yeah.
you got a friend who does something, but I've been using this person for so long.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'll let you off.
All right. Cheers. I appreciate
Not
it.
going to attack you.
But yeah, so what's the plans with the business then? Once you get the staff sorted, and I think you should try selling to the staff more, like Shiz was saying. I
Yeah.
think that's a bang on.
I want you to come back in a few weeks to say it worked. That'd be
Yeah.
sick. That would be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
if you
no,
actually
that
took
would
it,
be
because
cool.
a lot of people don't take action on things like I think me and James got some cool suggestions there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it
thanks for
worked, that'd be
those.
amazing. Like, come back and say that worked. That's
I'll
cool.
let you know how it goes. But yeah, I think I need staff so I can grow basically because the work's there. At one point, I had a waiting list of like 70 people. And
Yeah.
I had to I came off Facebook and everything because the messages were just too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how much do you charge people on the clean?
So domestic is £20 an hour, and then depending on what you need commercially, it will be like more on the size and what you need like
Yeah.
requirements sort of. Because that's a bit easier than like a house clean domestic. No, commercial.
So she's basically a recruitment company too, putting a $5 an hour, complaining about them, but she's in the same business.
Nice. So
You booked up every day, and how many staff members do you have? I think that's a good question.
So at the moment, it is mainly me. Then I've got my sister who helps me. My mum helps me because I'm struggling.
Yeah, it's good to get
fine.
people
My
to help
mum and
you.
sister helped me for the first few years as well.
Yeah. So I think there's
Yeah, my brothers helped me
4
too.
of us at the moment.
I'll tell you a funny story about my mum and sisters, right? We were packing phone cases. My business used to be above the garage, and we're packing phone cases above the garage. And one day I've come in, it was like the first time I ever had 100 orders. So I've had 100 orders, and I was paying my sister 20 quid a day, and my mum did it pro bono.
Slave
She's like, oh, I'll do
wages.
it free, no worries. Anyway, my sister then says to me, on the day my orders were going out, it was like a Monday, so I think I had 200 orders collaborated from the weekend, because the weekends would normally be slower. It'd be like a half rate. So if my days were 100 orders a day, my weekend would probably be 50 each on the weekends, but it backlog and it ended up being 200 orders. Anyway, so I had all these orders, and my sister says, unless I get paid more, I'm not working. And then my mum backed her up, and my mum goes, she should be getting paid more than £20, which she probably should, but I didn't have any money at the time to pay her. And she's like, and unless you pay her more than 20, I'm not working. So I had a complete strike. I had my mum and my
Family
sister.
strike.
And that was the thing that made me take the business out the garage and like, right, I'm going to go get a unit now. I need a unit. And that's what it was. So it was family and business. But it sounds like your mum's been more reliable because you're 4 years in. And this is no disrespect to you, mum. It was like,
But
that did us a favour.
But she could have gone about that a different way. Like, can you pay me a little bit more, please?
You couldn't have gone.
You know what I mean?
Don't worry, mum, don't worry. I'm only playing, yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than doing a strike. Did she actually like say like?
I don't know.
How did it get to that?
I voiced my disgust at like, you were seriously like gonna ransom me, and then they conceded.
But what I mean, when your sister first said that to you, did she? Is that the first way she approached saying?
Yeah,
if you
it's the
don't,
first way she approached it. She's like a wrecking ball. Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I remember I just got like real my back up about it. I was like, I'll pack them all then. I was like, no, I don't want your help. I will sort it, and I don't want you back here.
that's a wrong way to deal with something. There's like the two girls at your work who try to work together against you. Like,
Yeah.
if you come nicely with something, you might get a nice answer. Like, I need a little bit more money, James. Okay, cool, £25.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
That's what I think as well. Like, if a wife comes up to you and says, hey, can I get more of your time? Yeah, cool. Don't just scream at me and say, you don't see me enough. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to fucking see you anymore if you do that.
How you talk to me is going to determine my response to your question or
Yeah.
demand. You know,
Like,
you could be sweet about it and you get a different response. But if you come to me in that angle and that tone,
yeah.
I'm going to be back straight up. Like, nope. You know, I'll be stubborn as hell.
I know. And like, if you think about it, the best way to appeal is to appeal to your kind nature, because it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be
That's
horrible
like
to someone being sweet.
Yeah, that's like a 48 laws of power thing.
Yeah,
Go with the
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
nature or whatever.
Yeah, you got to know when to be a bully and when to go in soft. And like a lot of these people who don't get the outcomes they want, they'd be better off just going in soft. Like, hey, don't go in hard.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that, because when I ask someone for something, I'm not going to go straight to my last thing, which is a strike.
Yeah.
You start off like, ask nicely, you don't get it, then maybe go to a strike. Don't play your best card first.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
And talking about this, right? So we're talking about dating. How does that work, like with a guy? Because I know what I'm like. If a woman's got all her hours are taken, there's no time for me. I'm gonna be thinking, I like the fact that you're independent. I like the fact you've got a business going on, but you need to be putting me first and foremost. Do you get anyone who has a problem with the fact that you have a business? And I'm not saying they're gonna be as extreme as that.
Not really. I think it can be intimidating because I am really independent. I'm probably a bit too independent. Like,
Well, so you like a cutthroat. If a guy's not acting right, you're out.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a list of requirements.
And what? Yeah. Have you found that dating gets in the way of business, or is business ahead of all of that?
No, I think business is probably ahead at the moment. Yeah.
Do you know? And this isn't sex. It's just interesting. Is that I think business is always ahead, and sometimes with women, depending if they're dating or not, the guy can come in ahead of it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. No, work.
Good.
Pays
And-
my bills.
And what advice would you give to like someone who doesn't have it that way? Because I think that dating can get in the way of that for them. They need to have that same attitude as business ahead of everything.
Yeah, my advice is switch it up. Basically, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah. You say it.
So you said it pays your bills, that's why it's first, yeah. But what if a guy come and said to you, I'm going to pay your bills? Then what? Then is business first or second?
Now I'm gonna pay my own bills always. If I can have both, fine. But
Okay, so who? So if
No,
you
but he's
have
not
a-
going to pay your. He's not going to pay your bills, and you carry on working and not give him time. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's not the way of the world.
no, I'd rather pay my own way. Yeah.
So independence over everything. Yeah.
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 Definitely.
And why is that so important for you as well? Just out of interest.
I think everyone thinks everyone wants to live like an Instagram life, don't they? Without putting in the work. And I think you can have that life if you put in the work.
Right,
if
right,
that
right.
makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But let me just be devil's advocate again.
Oh, God.
What if the guy gives you Instagram life, but he says you don't have to work?
So are you asking it's a dream to not work then? If you got enough money.
Yeah, basically, I'm saying if someone's
Yeah, I
going to give you
guess,
what you...
honestly, yeah, I
your
guess
goal of
that's
business is to
probably-
make money, right? And if a
Yeah.
guy's going to pay all that
Yeah,
money...
but I want my own money and I want to like leave something behind, like for my son. I want to. Be
Yeah, but
like,
he'll leave it behind for your son too. You're married. You're married to a rich guy.
No, I would do it. I'll carry on myself. Yeah.
So you're saying that if it's your money, it's worth more than his money?
Yeah. 'cause I
Even
work
if the
for
both
that.
of the sums are in your bank?
Do you know that doesn't make sense?
No, but this is good.
I
you
think
know?
you're lying. I think you're lying.
fine.
You're lying. You're
I'll
lying.
take the money.
There you go. Yeah. At
Take
least
the
we,
money and run, Dick Turpin.
at least we got the truth out of you. I feel people always say these things like, "Oh yeah, I'd keep working." Like, no, you wouldn't.
I don't know.
You know
I
what I
feel
mean?
like
No,
I
you
would do
wouldn't.
like because you're gonna get bored.
Nah, because you're saying the first thing is most important to you is your business, right?
Yeah.
But what you run your business for?
Money. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
And the second thing, let me tell you, is you got a son, right?
Mhm.
So if you don't have to work, you got more time with your son, which
Yeah.
well, you haven't said is more important than your work, but I hope it is more important than your work.
Of course.
So so you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we
Because everyone has an overlord, everyone has a boss, right? Right now, your boss is money,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But really, your boss is your kid because you're doing it for your kid and you leave
Yeah.
stuff behind. So if a man comes
I like
along
that.
and pays for everything, he's now your boss, kind of.
Yeah.
He's not obviously not going to be tyrannical. He's not going to be Saddam Hussein, but
Yeah, no, you are
but
right,
you're going to
yeah.
have to have him as your priority. You're going to have to look after him as your priority, and he's going to give you money. But as you look after him as your priority,
That's sugar
you're
daddy.
also no, but you're also going to look after your kid, obviously, in the process. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's going to be mutually beneficial. But yeah, I feel like whenever you ask a girl, like, oh, what? Yeah, I'd still keep working. Like, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
You
don't know. It's hard because my mum, so like my mum and dad, my dad is the breadwinner, but my mum's got like so many side hustles. My dad wants my mum to stay at home, but my mum is like, no.
So is that where you get your
I
like
think so,
your
yeah.
crazy
And
independence
mum
then from
was
your mum?
like, she was a single mum. I've always seen her work and like she had everything and she did that herself. And then her and my dad have come together and built more. So I
yeah,
don't
well, as
know.
long as they get on, I guess it's not a problem, is it?
Yeah.
What sort of side hustles does she have?
So she does a bit of she does cleaning. She looks after like some older people, and then she does like traveling. You know, the travel agents, like online travel
yeah,
agents
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So she does quite a few, and she's studying to be a lawyer as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, sick. And what's your old man do?
He's an electrician.
Ah, nice. Ah, cool. So you've got your crazy work ethic from your parents then?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you know, like we talk about the difference of sexes, is that like a man, if he won the lottery, if he was like really, really work focused, nothing would change. There's just the stakes at the levels he plays that changes.
Yeah.
Like even no matter how much money he got, like most men, they really recognize purpose and routine, even if they change their purpose and routine to be charity. But women, it's a means to an end. I see is like a lot of the women I speak to in business, it's they got a goal, and if they had that goal financially, they wouldn't work anymore. They would allocate their time to the family. Whereas a guy still allocates his time to the family, but via purpose. And it seems to be more like, obviously there's differences where a man might decide to stay at home after he gets a lump sum, but I think mostly their work for the family is translated via purpose. Whereas a woman, if she could get the money from her purpose, the kid comes back to being her full purpose in the family.
Yeah, and then going back to what we said earlier, your childcare costs a lot, so you got to make 700 quid
Just to
before you're just to break even, and then secondly, the person looking after your child isn't going to do as good a job as you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one's going to look after a kid better than their own mother.
Yeah.
Like even the dad, not like the mum. Like you're born to do that job.
Yeah.
You know, literally. And then the second thing is obviously you don't know what these people are doing. Like you hear all these horror stories. Like you'd rather not leave a stranger with your child. You know?
Yeah.
So what's stage 2 of the business then? Once you started to sell the job to people are starting to recruit easy. Do you think it'd be I guess what I'm asking is if you can get people to stay and you can get people to be interested in a job, do you think that you could just scale up crazy fast?
Yeah.
So the business is there if you can get the people.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. The work is there.
Is that frustrating then, knowing
really
that I just
frustrating.
need you to stay in the job and I can start making a lot of money?
Yeah. It's really frustrating, and I'm like, yeah. What else can I do? It's really hard.
Where are all your customers around here?
So mainly Portishead. I've got Lawrence Western, Clevedon, and Bristol, but I want to be everywhere.
Yeah. How's it going with you? How's it going with your Airbnb?
Yeah, it's going all right. Like I was just telling her a minute ago, actually, when we cut. But basically, there's the road where it is just full of like old people. Like there's an old people's home or something, and a lot of them are doing nothing. So our cleaning technique is going to be we're just going to pay one of these older people to do it because they're bored and they just clean anyway, you know. So
Yeah.
and they'll just take like 15 quid or whatever. That's it.
Nice.
Job done. Because
Yeah.
otherwise you got to pay someone to drive there, this, that, and the other. Like they
Yeah.
live next door, they could just clean the sheets in the house. They don't have to wait around, you know. You put a load on, go sit in your house, watch TV, come back.
What's it like looking after an Airbnb? Like
Yeah.
if someone's looking to get into it.
Well, most people do like fully managed, where they just let a third party company do it, but then you're losing like 20% plus Airbnb fees, everything else. But yeah, it's pretty chilled. You know, like weekends are busy. Most times empty in the week. I need to add it on like booking.com. There's a few other sites. But yeah, it's not bad. I was at the start, obviously I've been cleaning it myself just to keep costs down and see how it goes and see whether it's worth renting as an Airbnb versus just like monthly.
Okay.
Because obviously as a monthly, your money's there. You don't have to do
Yeah.
anything. You don't have to clean. Like so, yeah.
Is this in Bath?
Yeah, it's in Bath. Yeah, so we run it through from like November, October, November. Going to see what it's like in summer and see if it weighs out to be better than
Yeah.
just a stress-free normal
Bath
rent.
is nice. It'll be like good there.
Yeah.
So far, are you enjoying it more than renting? Like, is it more fun?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the guests. It's just self-check-in because I can't even bother to like have small talk with like someone every other day. But I mean, yeah, you do meet some interesting people. You know,
It must be a bit like when you first start a business or whatever and you start getting sales. It must be pretty cool knowing that a flat that you've done up, that you bought, is now like, cool, I'm lucratively now like selling out space. People want to be in it. I've done something right.
Yeah. That's half the reason why I was cleaning it, because I just wanted to get a feel for it, like checking people in. Like I checked a few people in just to get a feel for it, what sort of people do it, then just checking it after. And you realize like people do some dumb things. Like I had a bad review. So I had an issue the other day, actually. Speaking of issues, I had a bad review about a few things, actually. And what happened is someone put an egg inside the kettle.
Oh
They've
my
obviously
God.
boiled an egg, saying like the flat wasn't clean. There was a egg inside the kettle. I'm like, when someone cleans, you don't look inside a kettle
No,
because
yeah,
there's
you
only
would-
supposed to be water in there. If someone peed in there, you wouldn't know because you don't check it. So now I've made a checklist, like check this, you know?
They put an egg in the kettle.
Yeah.
Is that a normal thing?
That's like a prison thing. It's like something you cook eggs in prison in a kettle.
How funny is this, bro? I wanted a hot coffee the other day, and you know you get those like Starbucks cold coffees that are in like a sealed container you buy from Tesco.
Yeah.
I poured it into the kettle. It's not my kettle. It's someone else's kettle. I can't say whose kettle it is. I poured it in there, and I turned the kettle on, and I poured a coffee.
Mad residue or not?
Loads of residue, but I sort of did a one wash and then put the kettle back, and they're probably using it none the wiser now.
Probably like infects you with
Everyone
tea and
check your
stuff.
kettles. Jesus.
Yeah. There's a kettle pandemic going on. But yeah, the other thing was like someone must have like stuck an eyelash or something like behind the bed. And obviously the bed's moved a bit forward and there was an eyelash left there. Just loads of dumb things, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, you get dumb complaints of dumb things. And they were going to remove the listing basically. And I showed them proof that this wasn't true. Obviously like pictures after each clean or whatever. And they reinstated it. So it was all good.
Nice.
But yeah.
Headache
There's
over.
an annoying headaches that you get. But for the first 2 appeals, they said no. And I just kept emailing over and over, like, here's proof, you're taking me down for this reason. And eventually I just got an email out of the blue.
Nice, man.
Because we still had some bookings before they removed it. So the other 3 people who stayed after that left good reviews. So I think that was what made them reinstate it. But out of like 50 positive reviews out of 2, and they were only 3 stars. They weren't like 1 star or anything. They're just 3 stars. It's so easy to get removed.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, isn't it? Like
Crazy.
Amazon, eBay, all these things are dangerous
Yeah.
now.
That eyelash thing that you said about then, it's reminding me, like, I'm staying in a hotel at the moment. When I'm in Holland working, I'm staying in like a crappy hotel, and I'm staying on this little single bed. And I guess I'm tossing and turning a lot because it's hot in the bed. Anyway, I'm tossing and turning like autonomously. I'm like fully asleep. I wake up and I'm like on the bare mattress, dirty mattress as well, mind.
Ugh.
This is last week. I woke
Grim.
up sweating and I'm on the mattress. The sheets have all gone off the bed. In my sleep, I must have pushed them off. And I was laid on this mattress, single mattress in this shitty hotel.
Ugh.
And it was dirty. And I thought, bruh, I'm getting PTSD from this. It doesn't relate, but it just, I don't know why it reminded me.
Mad. There's the UK's worst Airbnb, bed and breakfast or hotel was actually in Bristol. Alpha Guest House by Asda, if you ever seen it.
Nah, I've not seen it.
And it was horrible.
By the
like-
water, actually.
Yeah, by the water. You see it looks real grotty. This is years ago, like 10 years ago. And they had like a pink toilet. You know, it was like in the like 70s or whatever, people used to have like
Yeah.
mint coloured toilets,
Oh,
pink
God.
coloured toilets.
And carpets
And it was
in the
really
bathroom.
horrible. Like there was like dead cockroaches. You don't even get cockroaches in the country. I don't know why we had cockroaches. But yeah, they had cockroaches. They had like condoms under the bed and stuff when they clean. Horrible.
What, you stayed there?
No, I didn't stay. I saw it on TV. People were staying there.
That's
And
nasty. Isn't it funny? Yeah, cockroaches aren't in the UK, but they find their way to the worst hotels in the UK. So
Yeah.
they don't exist in the UK, but somehow there's a breeding ground in, like,
yeah,
if that's a shit hotel, they'll find some cockroaches.
yeah. It's mad. I think they were Chinese. I don't know if they'd imported some stuff and they like jumped aboard. That's how we got rats, didn't we, from China? I think.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, stowaways on boats. Yeah.
What, back in the day?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, they spread across the world. I think from China. Yeah.
That's
I think it was China, but the story of them spreading via boat is true.
You caught a rat one time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you had a rat that you were standing you off and you had a stick or something, didn't you?
Yeah, broomstick. It ran at me and I just went,
That's
killed
so
it. It's
funny,
mad.
man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
So what happens when you leave? What's that?
They won't attack you.
So basically, what happened is we closed up a shop and we left it empty for ages, and we come back after like 6 months to just hand it back, and like I could just hear rustling, and then I boxed it in, so like it'd go out the door. So the door was open, and I left like a barrier, and instead of running towards the door, it ran towards me, and I just.
That's funny, man. And that's nice precision, because they actually hurt, don't they? They try
Oh
to
yeah,
attack you.
well yeah, you just don't want diseases from it.
What's the situation as well? Hasn't everyone said, "Oh yeah, rats the size of cats"? I've never seen a rat the size of a cat.
No, I haven't.
Have you?
I don't think I've ever seen a
I've never seen a rat
I
bigger
saw
than this.
I saw a pretty big one like this, probably like in Birmingham or London. I
Kind
can't
of thing that you
remember.
wouldn't want to fight bare-hand.
No.
Forget disease.
Oh man.
Would it be scary bare-hand?
Oh yeah, if it bit you.
Really?
Yeah, they got
How
big
big
teeth.
is their mouth?
Listen, when I fixed it all up, yeah, when we first moved into this shop as well, there was loads of like holes everywhere. I couldn't work out what it was, and they got an old basement. And when the electrician went down there, there's loads of droppings and all sorts where they just filled in the basement and didn't look after it. So yeah, it's mad. There was just like holes everywhere and like through concrete and stuff. Like they could chew for anything.
Why
Their
are they
teeth
so
are
indestructible?
crazy.
Why are cockroaches and rats meant to be indestructible? What is the reason?
I don't know.
Because they say that they survive like wars.
Yeah,
don't they?
cockroaches survive a nuclear blast. Like they'll be the only things left.
And rats aren't as crazy, but they're on the same wavelength, aren't they? Like they also
Yeah.
survive mad shit.
Yeah, that's why you need a cleaner.
Yeah.
So do you like deal with rats too? Do you?
No.
So if I had a rat infestation here, you'd be taken away.
No, I would not. I'd be running.
What are we paying for?
Yeah.
That's what 15 quid an hour.
I'll do it for 50.
They're so like toxic, aren't they? Like if you drink water from where they've been, they get Viles disease and all that stuff. It's crazy.
God.
Yeah. What's the next plans then?
I just want to grow. I want to be like everywhere.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like professionally, like family wise, everything. Like you gonna have any more kids?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
And
I
if
feel
you
like the
do-
gap's too big now.
What is it,
He's
the age
10,
gap?
Yeah.
Nah, he could be the
10.
mentor to a little.
You got a babysit for free.
Yeah, true.
700 quid a
That's
month
what
out
I
the
did
window.
actually for my mums. So yeah, hopefully in 10 years it'll be nice to be like a household name
Yeah.
and have like little vans with my logo running around and just be
So is that the dream? Be across the UK?
yeah,
Yeah.
and buy a house. Yeah, work in progress.
So how many staff do you say you have now? Like about 5 or like 4 or 5?
4 or 5, yeah.
And what you're booked out every day? You like 9 to 5
yeah,
or?
so I could do double the workload if I've got like help, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So at the moment I'm doing like minimum hours because it's just like, it's getting hotter and like it's just me and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
But with 4 or 5, you could turn the world over. Start.
Ideally, if I had a team of 10, then yeah, like that would be a good starting base. And then
And what's the best place you've been to in the past? Have you had staff before?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think the most I've had at one time was like 5.
Yeah.
But like people come, they do it for 6 months and they get bored, or they're just rubbish, or yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think one of the ways to help.
yeah.
No, I was just gonna ask
the
on
files.
off topic. What's the maddest house you've cleaned? Like, as in terms of like the craziest house you've seen and the dirtiest house you've seen.
Or like how like detailed do you want me to go?
All out.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's pretty gross. I've seen
Go on.
some like like skid marks in pants and like
Ugh.
tampons like on the toilet. Like it's yeah.
They didn't make it inside.
Yeah, it's honestly some of the stuff. I'm trying to think. Best house is I did a millionaire's house, and that was nice.
Was it? What, like
Yeah,
sick ass
like,
fixtures?
Really
Was it?
nice, yeah.
Where's that to? Like Cadbury Camp or something?
Clifton,
Yeah.
and it like overlooks the the bridge and stuff.
Oh,
It's really
wow.
nice. Yeah.
That's
Sick.
cool. Yeah, it's cool when you get to see different people's houses and stuff. Like when you see mad houses, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking then, like, you know, when you're saying that some people could get bored of the job and stuff. I also see that, and I see that in like my job. Like a lot of the people who, like the role that you even worked when you were at my company, is they're process jobs that unless there's something extra on top of the process, it's hard and they can
Yeah.
get bored. And I think like I don't know what you do, but one of the good things is like creating like a community and having things booked in advance. So like, forget that maybe they don't find polishing a table or hoovering the most interesting thing, but what they find interesting is the community and the things that are outside of that, you know, like, oh, we get a gym membership here and we get to do this every 2 weeks. We go to dinner here, and if we hit target, Lisa takes us out. And I think those kinds of things.
Work perks,
Yeah,
basically.
work
Yeah,
perks.
people love them, don't they?
Yeah, and work perks where there's a really, like, you got a great personality, you're like bubbly. If your bubbliness and your personality goes through the business, you'll end up making like a culture where people don't want to leave,
Yeah.
you know? And like what we have at my company is we have jobs which in other organizations could be viewed as mundane. I don't think it's mundane, but people could view it as mundane. But because the company's so exciting and so fun and so silly and stupid stuff's happening, that we have a great retention,
Yeah.
even in the jobs where a normal company doesn't have a good retention. So it would be worth looking at that, you know? Like, think of your objective as, yeah, we got to get the mission done, but it also needs to be fun.
Yeah.
And if it's fun and like, look, the high point of my week is the fact that we get to go to the Ivy, or the high point of my month is we get to go to the Ivy, and Lisa's a blast to be around, and she's going to come and tell me great job when I do a good job, and all those little things can mean so much. You actually keep people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think,
there's that obviously what's it called? I think it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs or something. I can't remember who the researcher is. Hierarchy of needs, but basics is like pay, food, something else, and when you got that, it's like gratification. I can't remember what the top one is, but yeah, I think food is at the top, and then after that, when you've got that, it's like gratification, being praised, all that sort of stuff. You kind of tie that in with the whole community thing, like sense of belonging.
yeah.
Like people will crave community now, don't they? Because we don't
Yeah.
really have it as much.
Yeah. Community is one of the things missing.
Especially
so
like
much.
sort of like NCP people, like NPC people, like they need that.
Yeah, they do. Community is so important. That's why you see people, like we were saying earlier, just getting lit on complaints. They'll just sit there and complain all day because they don't have all the stuff that they used to, like community, like religion, like just things that gave them the reasons. So like, okay, I'm just going to sit and complain all day. And like the birth of Karens comes from the birth of decadence, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And we say Karens joking around, but really Karens is a situation in the West, and that's just that you're finding reasons to complain about everything. Like, it's annoying dealing with Karens, but let's forget the fact that they're annoying to deal with. Karens are people who have just got such a great life now that they can complain about absolutely everything.
Yeah, well, that's what we said on the last. It was on the last pod, wasn't it, Karen's? Or was
Yeah.
it this pod?
I think it was the last one.
Yeah, so we were basically saying that the people who always complain about random things are just people from privileged backgrounds. They feel entitled. Like if a kid's playing with a ball outside, they'll have a go like, "Oh, I want some quiet." You know what I mean? Like dumb things like that. Do you know what I mean? It never happens in like areas where they're not as rich. It's always in like richer areas where people moan about everything.
Yeah,
because they got nothing going on.
Yeah.
They find a reason to get offended by anything, you know? The same people who will write letters into the BBC when someone said a bad word, like, bro, could you not just let it slip? Did you have to go out of your way to write a letter to say, I was not happy with the guest you had on last night? They don't care.
I'll be controversial. Is never anyone coloured writing these letters to like BBC complaining about stuff. If you agree with me, would you agree with me or not?
No, you're right. Yeah.
Because when you've had stuff like people being racist, you just you don't care about these little things. You know, while these people don't have these problems, so they complain about absolutely everything. You know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean. I do like reading stuff on that Port's Head page. I'm like really.
Yeah. See, that's a
pro
perfect
of,
example. Like it's a certain demographic.
Go for a walk instead of like. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I know. I saw someone write into one of those groups the other day. He was saying, and it's actually a guy I know. He was saying, I keep seeing dogs go to the bathroom on this. There's a little corner, and it's got like gravel. And he goes, we need to do something about this gravel. Dogs are looking at it as a target. Like, bro, we don't need to be talking about gravel.
Yeah.
That's not what life's got to.
Yeah. Like we're sat there and you're writing an essay about gravel because what, you saw a dog go bathroom on some gravel, bro. We don't care.
And these people are so deluded in their own worlds, right? So I had a shop off, you know Gloucester Road, right?
Yeah.
It's like the longest road in the UK full of independent shops. Yeah. So it's like, that's a fact. Yeah. So if you are going to go retire and live somewhere peaceful, are you going to live on a road with a load of independent shops and clubs and like connecting points? So I used to have this guy, Derek, like such a male Karen name, isn't it, Derek? He used to come out and complain. I was like, what's the matter? He's like, someone pulled up here at 6 p.m. blasting music. I'm like, it's a main road at 6 p.m.
What do you expect?
And then we had like delivery riders pulling up to collect food. He's like, these guys are talking all night. Da, 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 da. And then once his wife was drunk, came in moaning. She's like, oh, I'm sick of this place, blah, blah, blah. We've come here to retire. Our parents live 2 doors down. We've lived there our whole lives. I'm like, it's Gloucester Road. It's not a place to retire.
No,
For like
not.
peace and quiet, you want to go live to the countryside. Anyway, she came and having a rant, and she goes, oh, like, you know, most delivery riders are like Brazilian or like, well, they're all mainly Brazilian. Anyway, she's like, these people are out here at 10 o'clock at night talking loudly to each other, blah, 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 blah. Like, I know in your country you have siestas. Like, I'm not Mexican, firstly.
Spanish.
Yeah, I was Spanish. Like, wherever siesta's from. And she's like, and over here everyone's quiet at night because we don't have siestas. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So funny.
And she came in all entitled. I'm just there like for 45 minutes she's having a rant. I'm just there like rolling my eyes like, you are living in a bubble, love. Literally. So dumb, innit?
Yeah. And it's that same thing, innit? Like they see that you're not the same as them, so they just assume like you're a siesta, bro. Do you know anything about anything?
Yeah. And it's like all these things have worked for them. Like there's a reason why you could go to like it's not even because they're having siestas, but there's other people come who are from less privileged backgrounds who will work a petrol station till 6 a.m. So when you're out of milk or whatever, you can go there.
Yeah.
But if everyone was privileged like you, these places wouldn't be
Wouldn't
open
exist,
to make your life easier.
People do.
So it's
think
rich,
that,
like
don't
coming
they?
from them, you know?
You know, they talk about like, I'll check your privilege and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People's privilege is legitimately going to be checked, but not by some BS wokeness. When CBDC, when serious problems come in and they sat there like, we used to complain about the smell of smoke. We used to complain about the noise, but now I'm trapped.
Yeah.
Now I'm a slave. And that's going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
And these people, these Karens are going to be humbled by what real problems are when they can't leave the house, when they're living in a 15-minute city and they can't even get in a car anymore.
They're enablers of this problem too,
Yeah.
because they'll moan, oh, this guy leaves his car running outside my house, blah, blah. And in a minute, oh, I can't drive my car in the city centre. Boo-hoo. Like, you've got here because you moan about everything.
Yeah. And that's the thing, innit? The Karens and the Derricks, those are the people who are literally driving us into chaos.
Yeah.
And they think that they're championing, like, nah, we want peace. We want... No. You finding a reason to get upset about everything, you're letting them just push these new laws, push this new legislation. And in a second, you're going to be crying about it.
It's
Yeah.
scary, isn't it?
They force too much red tape. And this guy, Derek, I got a background story because the other guy told me about him, the other neighbour who's lived with him. He had like a minor injury at work and he took the pay and he's getting paid like disability for whatever time. So now he's bored. Like he's the kind
Too
of
much
guy,
time on his hands, yeah.
you're driving up the road and he'll be like, slow down. You know, you get these people who tell you to slow down. Like, you're not a policeman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get so mad.
I've noticed from even people I know closely that the older they get, the more and the less they have going on, they'll find the smallest thing just to complain or have an opinion or judge. I notice that the Karens and the Derricks get way more judgy.
I think it's just to have some relevance though, because they don't have anything else to talk about. Like they want to be relevant. Like, oh, let's listen to him complain. Because I noticed at first, I was entertaining his complaints and reacting to them. Like, okay, I'll tell people to park around the corner. I'll tell people to do it. And the more I appeased him, the more entitlement he had and the more privilege he had. Like, oh, they're doing this now. Like, listen, I've done enough for you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, do you know what? I don't care. You know?
And then there's so much peace then.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's the thing is when you sit there and you complain about nonsense, in the end, it's like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
Like you need to just pick, like, and this is why the Karens get joked and laughed at.
Yeah, you can't entertain it either.
No,
you know?
no.
Before I'd be like, oh, sorry, but like, hold on, who are you? This is a public road.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you need that attitude. Like, this is a public road, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to call the police, call the police.
And
Cool.
what happens? It's like you appease them, and then suddenly you start to feel like the villain because that's the way they're talking to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll try and fix that for you. Like, hang on, what was happening before me? People were using the road,
Exactly,
cars were turning up.
Yeah, they're so self-righteous, they make you feel like you're wrong. Just for living your life normally, you know.
Classic gaslighting.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So we had our last guy, there was his name Tepe. He was saying that he experienced like racism at work. Do you feel you do as well or not?
No, I think obviously I have, but no, not in work. I don't think.
In what way do you mean you have before? So like
So
like that kind of like you could tell they're racist, but they haven't said anything, or the way they
Yeah.
speak to you.
Like, I guess the way I sound, I think sometimes people don't think I'm black, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what's a black person sound like?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest.
And then when you turn up, they're just kind of like, oh,
Oh, I didn't expect you to know that like that. I'm like, well, what do you mean?
oh,
Like,
is that what they said?
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? The worst one was in the hairdressers though. I went and got my hair done and they were like, you do know you're black, why do you speak like that? I was like, what do you mean? Like,
Really?
Yeah.
What recently you did it?
It was a couple of years ago.
Was it?
Yeah, it was hairdressers on Stapleton Road.
Well, black hairdressers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's
and
you.
they made me feel so uncomfortable. I was like, right, never going back there. I didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like reverse racism, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, mad. You want to take away the Q&As?
Yeah, okay. I have from Kamalesh, and he's saying it to me, but why didn't you answer it? He's bro, but it's Lisa. How do you start a business at age 16 as well? And picture yourself at 16, and what advice would you give to yourself? How do you start a business at 16?
Find a gap in the market, whether it be like, I don't want to like top my brother in.
That's
but...
yeah.
So my little brother has, I'm going to get in trouble. Basically, he's bought vapes and he sells them for like double the price.
That's good. That's not dumb. That's
so like
enterprise. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
I think
What's wrong with
find
that?
a gap in the market and exploit it a little bit, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Like just do it. Just do
Yeah.
it is the main thing. Like people
You're
think
not
about
gonna
things, but they
know.
don't do it.
Unless you try. So
What about you, Shiz? What's your answer to that?
Like just do it. Just try it. You know, just get experience of it. Like people don't do things. People talk about it and they don't do it. Like that food container we took on, when we took it on and we're filling it up with staff, people were like, the people who'd worked there for like 2-3 years were like, oh, I had good ideas for that place. Oh, I wanted that place. Like, yeah, I just wrote an
like,
email
you
and
do
got
it.
it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and these people had been around it. They knew who to speak to, but they didn't. You know, now I've got it. Oh, I've got some ideas. So you're like, okay, well.
So why don't you
Too
tell us
late.
about how you got into that business then? Because that's interesting. So how you just set up, what happened?
Yeah, so this is a new setup. My friend's running it now because obviously I don't have time for it. I've just put him in charge. So basically, I think it was one point Europe's best nightclub apparently 1 year at one night anyway, but it's Motion. You know that's right. And there's like a 40-foot shipping container, and then my friend was always picking up people from there, and they always complain there's no food here, and it's open from like 10 till 4 a.m. or all day, and there's no food, and once you leave you can't come back. It's in the middle of nowhere on an industrial estate. So I just emailed him one day saying, oh, I keep hearing that people want to eat there, even staff members. My friend does a lot of pickups there. And so, yeah, basically we just got like a 40-foot shipping container there now, and it's being run, There's a day event today, so.
And it was all just because you sent an email and you...
That's it,
How did you even think to do it?
Well, just because my friend kept telling me, my friend's like, you do food. There's a place here that needs food doing, you know? Like, no one can eat there. The staff are hungry. There's nowhere around there. People have to leave to get food. So they wanted someone to run food there. So now, set up. Easy.
Sick.
Cool.
It's
That's
like
nice,
overnight. That's
And
it.
you made it happen. And you got other people who were there saying, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
And you know what? The thing was, with me, I knew it for weeks or months, And then one day I was like, do you know, my other thing's closed now. I've got a load of equipment. So I just sent an email that day. So you don't mean I should have done it sooner, but the minute I did it, it happened.
Sick.
So just
man.
doing it, taking a step towards it, I think is a major key.
Definitely. Yeah, my advice is similar, is it's not rocket science, is you could sit there and try and think about the best idea forever. But like we said before, like we said in even episode 1, is there's people making money out of the most silly, well, not silly, but like you think, I can't be bothered to do that. That's not a glossy business, like chicken hutches, like we said. But it's all about just focused, keeping your head down. And in the end, you can make a lot of money, Like my business, we do well and we sell phone cases. So it's not about like, oh, how do I start a business? What idea? Just literally pick a business and get into it. Like the guy in the previous podcast, go out and check the episode before, Birds Valeting. Like you can go and clean, you might not be able to have a valeting van, but you can go and clean cars. But you're choosing to ask these questions. You don't have to put these hurdles in the way.
And everything's been done before. Like everyone says, I don't have an idea. That's been done. Like, yo, you weren't the first person selling phone cases, not taking anything away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you weren't the first person cleaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't the
saw
first person
a guy,
selling food
and he
or
was
Airbnb.
like, I looked at his articles all day long. Like, this guy makes all this money from phone cases. And all I just kept telling myself is, if he can do it, I can do it. If he can do it. I had him on socials and everything. He didn't know I was looking at him.
Yeah.
The whole time, I just kept telling myself, if this guy can do it, I can do it. And I just kept going. And I think that's why people would serve themselves a lot better if they did that. Pick a business you want to do, look at a guy who's doing it well, and then do everything he does but better. Like, it's not rocket science.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, you're watching him. He didn't know that you're coming up on him. You overtook him, obviously.
Yeah.
And all you needed to do is work harder because he's getting richer. He's getting lazier. He's making more mistakes while you're hungrier. So you're giving it more and more and more. Slowly, before you know it, like, you've just gone...
It's like Marlowe in The Wire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Marlowe comes up hungry. Have you seen The Wire?
No.
It's such a sick series. Before Sopranos, it was like the one before Sopranos, and you got this guy coming up, and you got Avon Barksdale, the same guy from Paid in Full. We were talking about Paid in Full in the last episode. Have you seen the movie Paid in Full? But anyways,
Don't get out much
What?
what?
You're like the
It's a
first
sick
person
film.
not to have seen that film. That's
and
mad.
he was a young
Is it on
gun who was
Netflix?
Yes, right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
I'll watch it tonight.
he was a young gun that was coming under the radar, and then like by the time he's got to the level of Avon, he's already like
It's too
way
late.
too much of a force.
Yeah.
Like those people, they'll go under your nose, and then they're big before. It's mad. Let me see what other questions we got.
It's that whole working in silence, you know,
Yeah.
not making too much noise. And what else we got?
What made you decide to go into business as a woman?
I think for me personally, obviously having my son, and yeah, I think that really, and like,
Does business not seem, because a lot of people obviously they have these excuses, does business not seem as more of a risk because you have your son? Like a lot of people, they do the opposite and they say, I can't risk starting a business because I got my son.
I think that was my biggest fear when I started was, is it going to be enough money? Am I going to be good at it? And
Are you good at it?
yeah, I'm really
Yeah?
good at it. Yeah.
So do you see like, hey, I'm a lot better than a lot of people?
Yeah. And that's why like my clients stick with me, and like I know what I'm doing, and I know where I'm different and why I'm working like well, and like why people like me, because I do extras and stuff.
And why do you reckon, and what do you reckon the competition do wrong?
They don't do the extras.
And what are the extras?
I don't want to say.
All right, you'd have to say the extras, the
No,
secret
it's
sauce.
just-
You don't get the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Should
Unless
tell-
you employ me.
Should I tell you what as well? Like, no matter what you're doing, when someone takes pride in what they're doing, like take pride in your cleaning,
Yeah.
whatever, like it goes to show, doesn't it? Like it goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. Like people know if you love it or you don't, and they like
Yeah.
to give business to the person who they know has a passion for it. You know,
Yeah.
because like I said, the cleaners I had before, they did it because I paid them.
Yeah.
This new lady, she'll be like, oh, I moved the desk and there's loads of dirt behind there. Blah blah. What have you done? I'm like, how do you even know that? The other lady used to just keep it covered and like if you can't see it, it's not mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And not moving stuff. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, like we said about ironing sheets and that. Like when you come
Those
back and you got
little
iron sheets, you'll be like, wow, this is a different level, you know. Like, and you'll go for that over someone who doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Did I even
Advice
answer
to
the
someone
question?
thinking about starting out in business who's scared.
You'll probably regret not doing it sooner. I would
Yeah.
say do it. Yeah. What have you got to lose? And as long as you know you're going to work hard, you'll make it happen. How much do you want it?
I know there's plenty of people who got failed businesses who thought that same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying. I'm just saying like some people have legitimate fears. You know, like if we want to go and start Facebook now or a competition for Facebook, it might not work. You know.
Yeah, and you will you're going to fail, but I think you'll be proud of yourself for trying.
100%, I agree.
Just something I thought of as well now. For example, like you said, women wanted to go into business, right? And you got a kid, right? They're going to say it's risky, but really, as a woman, as a single child in this country, anyway, at least, you've kind of got like a fallback as well, because the government, like you said, they give
Yeah,
you a lump sum, so
exactly.
there's no
Yeah.
risk of you going out and starting a business when you know the government is still going to pay for your
Yeah.
child, still going to pay for your housing, your electricity, your gas, everything else.
Exactly, yeah, no, you're
So
right.
what reason have you got to not try and start a business? You've got literally like a blank canvas. All your bills are paid for. You can spend all your time, you know,
Yeah.
just trying to start a business.
Yeah, definitely.
Like no one's got an excuse.
Yeah, they haven't. And I think people just want to find an excuse that's legitimate for them. Like, yeah, but I've got this. Like, no. Everyone in every situation has made a business happen.
Yeah,
So there's always an excuse,
for real.
and there's always a reason to make it happen as well. And you can choose to be on what side of the fence you want.
Yeah, and just one question that we ask everyone: if someone wanted to start a cleaning business today, what advice would you give them, or how could they get into it fast?
I would say you've got it's the small things make the big difference. Like you said, moving things and stuff. Well, I think you don't really. There's no
Like,
startup.
how do you get customers and stuff like that, and what do you need to buy? Like how
Facebook.
much?
So you can provide products, or most people provide for you. So there isn't really a startup cost if you really
Yeah.
want to if that's an issue. Yeah, Facebook, word of mouth. I think.
Did you get flyers or anything printed up? Or?
Oh yeah, I did business cards and flyers. Yeah, I used to get my sister to go and post them through letterboxes and stuff.
Ah,
for
that's
me.
cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. Been an interesting podcast.
Give your socials a shout out.
Leave it to Lisa is the name of my
That's a
business.
good
Leave it to
name.
Lisa. And that's
Yeah,
on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, yeah, and I've got a website as well.
Nice. And what's the website?
Just Lisa.
.com or .co.uk?
.com.
Leave it to Lisa.com.
Sorry.
I don't know
Yeah.
what's funny.
I don't know either.
Hey, when this blows up, you're gonna get a load of customers for this. So make sure you say it loud
Maybe
and
some
proud.
staff too.
Yeah.
You got a load of people complaining they don't have money to start businesses. Maybe you could work a bit part time for
Yeah.
you and
So
save some money up.
yeah. These people saying, how do you start a business on zero money? You've got an employer here, and you got someone who'll clean your house here. So you got people who you could apply for a job, and you've also got a way you can clean your house. So leaveitwithlisa.com, leave it with Lisa on social media, and that's who you got to hit up. And James Lake Show on Instagram.
Shiz, GZ.
Nice, a great episode.
Thanks.
Yeah,
guys.
well done.